Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting the session on Jaina culture, literature and science. I welcome Professor Subhadra Jain. She is going to chair, and I welcome Kim Skog, co-chair. Professor Joshi, she is the former head of Department of Philosophy, Mumbai University. She has 42 years of teaching experience and 26 students have completed PhD and 6 more are working under her supervision. Of 26 students, 13 are international students. She has published 1 book and 6 books she has edited, and more than 60 research papers she has published. She has been former member of UGC, ICPR, member of Board of Studies of many universities, lectured all over India and abroad, active partner in interreligious dialogue. She has visited Italy, England, Turkey, China, Canada, France, Germany. Major contribution is to start courses in Jainology at PG and UG level in University of Mumbai, Department of Philosophy. The weekend program in philosophy at Mumbai University has been a great success. The whole credit goes to Professor Subhadra Jain. Dr. Kim Smoog is a scholar who believes that teaching should be on the field of conducting travel study courses. He takes his students to Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Mongolia, Nepal, China, and Tibet for his field teaching. An invited lecturer, presenter of over 75 papers in Europe, United States, and Asia at institutions like MIT, Harvard, etc. He has published over 25 articles in journals and books throughout the world. For the past 20 years, Dr. Kim Smoog has turned his attention to Jaina philosophy and religion. He has introduced a course on Jaina philosophy at his university and added sections on Jainism in several of his other courses. He regularly volunteers to teach college classes for the University of Maryland on US military base around the world and includes sessions on Jainism in his course on Asian philosophy and religion. He has been teaching Jainism and Ahimsa to US soldiers stationed in Iraq and Afghanistan for last 8 years. I welcome both of them as chair and co-chair. There are scholars who will be reading the papers. I think you would invite one by one. Thank you very much.
Pinch yourself, we're about ready to start. Right. It's not a dream. Okay, do you want me to read the whole thing?
No. Nothing.
Okay, well, Dr. Soni is a PhD in philosophy at the University of Salzburg, Austria, studies Sanskrit, and will now speak.
Fine. Paper is Dying and Death in Jainism, Philosophical Anthropology of Samyaktva. In 2015, two European scientists published a highly acclaimed book dealing with self-directed dying by voluntary renouncing eating and drinking. The title of the book, translated into English, is A Way Out at the End of Life. The age-old method of ending one's life voluntarily by consciously refusing food and fluid, as practiced, for example, by Stoics and Epicureans, has been revived in this book. This revival comes at a time when so-called ethic commissions all over Europe discuss euthanasia and find themselves in extremely difficult controversies. The method of renouncing food and drink seems to be seen, by many patients, by their families, and by palliative workers, to be a relieving resort in the jungle of juridical dilemmas and restrictive rules. It is a way out. It is not illegal. It is feasible. It is a kind of soft way of passing away in comparison to taking a lethal dose of barbiturates. In a dying process, medicinal care is taken against the dryness of the mouth and eventual pain. This method of dying is presented as a possible way for those who want to take their end in their own hands in order to die in dignity, which is understood as a self-determination and avoidance of pain, invalidity, and dependency. It is a possible escape from physical and mental horrors, a way out at the end of life. I would like to juxtapose this way out with the Jaina Bhakta Pratyakhyana by considering one salient point of difference as gathered from a pertinent text. That is the specific phenomenon of faith as the basis of decisions and acts. It is concerned with human nature, and it is thus a topic of philosophical anthropology. My textual investigation found it explicit that at the core of the topic of consciously ending life are the concepts of darshana, jnana, and charitra, and the prominent feature of Jaina asceticism, tapas. The interrelation and the impact of these concepts, as analyzed in the texts, that the celebrated modes of dying, a discipline death, are entirely linked with the human phenomenon of having absolute faith in a doctrine. Aradhana and Samyaktva are the concepts which discern this mode of dying from others. First, a short remark about the term Aradhana and the Aradhana texts. They are dogmatic and ethico-religious texts systematically expounding Samyaktva, the rightness regarding Darshana, Jnana, Charitra, and Tapas. My quotations are mainly from Shivarya's Mula Aradhana, also called Bhagavati Aradhana, a Prakrit work from the earliest stratum of the pro-canon of the Digambaras, probably from the 1st century of our era. The Mula Aradhana is a book on dying and death, in that it explains step by step the perfect purification in the most decisive last phase of life. The prominent theme is dying a salvific death. That is a process which enables an ascent on the ladder to liberation, be it a good rebirth or, in the best case, liberation from the cycle of samsara. The ultimate characteristic of a salvific death, that is one of the 3 types which have the attribute pandita, you know all this, is dying in samayika, ahimsa, and dhyana. Such a death is well prepared, and the dying itself is an active process of giving up food and drink. It is based on a decision of the person, who may be a female or male layperson, or a monk or a nun. Aradhakas attempting this process of dying leave their community, confess, repent, renounce, and stay in dhyana. No medicinal support is provided. The process of dying can be performed as a public dying with members of the religious group and with the assistance of a sustita, a highly qualified teacher. The public dying is called Bhakta Pratyakhyana rite. When dying is performed without any assistance, then it is in solitude as Ingini Marana, which allows some restricted movements. Or third, in the most non-violent way, it is Prayopagamana Marana, dying alone on the bare ground, not moving the body at all. The Mula Aradhana explicitly affirms the possibility to end one's life by killing oneself in an abrupt way, if circumstances are compelling. These deliberate self-killings are also performed according to the rules and with an equilibrium of mind. Aradhana is the perfection of the qualities which are necessary conditions of the possibility of dying by final fasting or, as already mentioned, by killing oneself. Obviously, the highest degree of self-discipline is reached in this last act. The controlled endurance of physical and mental pains while renouncing the body certainly requires the unflinching conviction that this is the right path to take. Dying becomes the touchstone for authentic and true faith. Shivarya elaborates in a systematic way that the decisive features of Aradhana are just these 2: rightness, samyaktva, and right conduct, charitra. In subsequent verses, Shivarya establishes the relationship of the terms darshana, jnana, and charitra. These concepts are by no means used unequivocally in the Jaina scriptures, neither in the canonical nor in the commentarial literature. The function and role of jnana and darshana especially are seen variously, and it is therefore also difficult to translate the terms. Apart from the problems faced within the Jaina tradition itself, I think here one touches upon a bundle of principal problems of cognition, volition, and agency. The phenomenon faith is multifaceted. However, it is very important to be clear about issues of faith and knowledge and the related prescription of conduct in the end-of-life decisions. To be free from doubt, nishankita, is exactly what matters in performing a wise death. Shivarya seems to have found a standpoint and puts the relation between darshana and jnana in proper perspective. He says in verse 4, the one who gains darshana will undoubtedly attain jnana, but the one who gains jnana, it is not necessarily granted darshana. He then consistently restricts jnana to those who have the right faith. The jnana of the others is merely ignorance. Shivarya's deliberation turns now to the distinction of self-discipline, samyama, and self-mortification, tapas. And he states in verse 6, whoever achieves self-discipline, samyama, will certainly attain tapas, but whoever realizes tapas might or might not get samyama, self-discipline. Skipping his further analysis, I only quote his decisive verse on the significance of charitra. He states, aphoristically, to know the do's and don'ts, that is mindfulness, parihara. And this is verily jnana, and this is verily samyaktva. Thus it becomes clear that right conduct is crucial for the preparation of aradhana, but right conduct is embedded in and interconnected with darshana and jnana. Darshana is based on the jnana of the teaching, but it is by the synthetic view of darshana that jnana becomes the right jnana. Only then this right jnana enables right conduct, which is the precondition for the disassociation from karma. The concept of rightness or trueness, samyaktva, is a central term not only in Jaina philosophy, but especially in all aspects of their teaching when it concerns faith, knowledge, and conduct. In fact, Umaswati's Tattvartha Sutra begins with the word samyak. The very first sutra on our basic teaching says, Samyak darshana jnana charitrani moksha marga. Right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct together constitute the path to liberation. Darshana is faith, is concerned with belief. What is it that the one who has the right faith believes in? What is the object of belief? That is clearly expressed in the next sutra when it says, Tattvartha shraddhanam samyak darshanam. True faith is belief in the tattvas, namely belief in the 7 basic truths. Sometimes there are 9. I don't have to enumerate these tattvas here in this learned society and audience. The 7 tattvas, in their interconnectedness, cover indeed, so to say in a nutshell, an entire philosophical system, Jaina ontology and metaphysics and ethics. It states the entanglement of the jiva with karmic matter, the chances of embodiment, when the right path is taken, which makes stoppage and destruction of karma possible. The faithful Jaina accepts these basic truths. He believes them. He has shraddha. And this fact is samyak darshanam. With all due brevity, I would like to end by referring to the classical Kantian questions. What can we know? What may we believe? And what should we do? And by pointing out that Jaina soteriology answers them with the teaching of the Nigranthas. This is a matter of faith. It implies an affirmative attitude to the doctrine taught by the omniscient ones. This affirmative attitude, the Sanskrit is astikya buddhi, is said to be a state of ripeness of the jiva, which is the result of a specific karmic constellation of relative purity. This might allow some human beings to die in this highly faithful way. I started this very short presentation with a reference to the 21st century secular fasting unto death, termed as a way out at the end of life, which also might happen at the right time, at the right place, albeit in a somewhat different way, supported by medicine, and probably without expectation of an afterlife, without faith. In comparison, the Samadhi Marana of the Jaina faith is not seen as a way out, but presents itself as the way up on the path of purification. And I thank you for your attention.
I guess we go to the second person now, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Professor M.P. Tiwari.
What's that?
Professor M.P. Tiwari.
Yeah, it's Professor M.P. Tiwari.
Chairperson and co-chairman and friends. I feel highly enlightened having been given this opportunity to discuss some of the ideas and views on jurisprudential aspect of Santhara in Jainism. In fact, I have not to go in details of the Jain religion, Jain philosophy, Jain way of life. Simply, I have to take into consideration one of the ways and means for the salvation, that is the Santhara. Jain philosophy and religion believe that every individual